Dear Sankofa passengers, you who are embarking on a flight at a time when many are cancelling theirs, welcome. Our captain of the day, our heroine of this week, is called Sandy, Abenafrica on social media, and she is taking you on an energetic journey. Hang in on there and have a good flight.
African History Daily by my daddy.
Hello Sandy, I'm so happy to have you on this special month of March. Could you introduce yourself please and tell us about your project?
Hi, I'm Sandy. I founded Abenafrica, which is a platform dedicated to the history and the culture of Black communities. On this website, I speak about us yesterday, about us today, and about us in the world. When I say yesterday, I talk about everything that I haven't been taught at school. History, the African empires, Black inventors, all great men and great women that have changed the world. I want to put light on them. When I say that I speak about us today, it's all about our culture. All the things that belong to the Black communities but that are diminished by the society, but that actually they're things that we should be proud of. And when I say that I speak about us in the world, I mean that on a regular basis, I take my backpack and I travel around the countries of what I've called Afro-world, which is Africa and its first diaspora, Caribbean islands, Latin America, even some places in Asia. So yeah, I gather all that stuff around a motto, which would be in English, unveil the Afro-Curious that is in you, or reveal the Afro-Curious that is in you. And it means being curious and positive about everything about Black communities. So yes, this is what I try to do with Abenafrica.
Do you want to lift now the mystery of this name of Abenafrica?
Oh, okay. So Abenafrica, actually this is the gathering of two words, Abna and Africa. Abna is the first name commonly used in Ghana, and Ghana is the very first African country where I put my foot on. So I was in a Ghanaian volunteer organization, and when I arrived, they wanted me to feel comfortable. So they asked me, on which weekday were you born? And I said that I was born on a Tuesday. So they told me, here in Ghana, girls that were born on a Tuesday are called Abna. So during all my stay, everybody were calling me Abna. Actually, it's a tradition from the Ashanti kingdom, of which Ghana is one of the hair countries. And according to the weekday you were born and your gender, you come up with a first name. For example, the former Secretary General of the UN, Kofi Annan, is called Kofi because he was born on a Friday. So yes, when I decided to create my website 1.5 years ago, I wanted to do it with a nod to my very first African experience.
So what motivated you to start this kind of project?
Okay, so the first thing I would like to say about it, people often tell me, yeah, we see how passionate you are. And I'm kind of embarrassed when I hear that. For example, I play violin. I can totally say that I'm passionate with playing violin. But I do not manage to say that I'm passionate about Black cultures, Black history, because I feel like I'm saying that I'm passionate about me. Everything I do today with Abenafrica. And of course, I'm so happy when I receive messages of people telling me that they learn so many things thanks to me, that they travel to African countries thanks to what they saw on Abenafrica. But everything I do today with Abenafrica, it feeds me a lot. It makes me grow a lot. So I don't manage to talk about it as a passion. I do not know if it's self-development or if it helps me for what I will share when I have children, but I can't talk about it as a passion. And about where it comes from, so actually everything I am today, everything I do today is 99.9% linked to the education my parents gave me. I've been raised in France by a father from Guadeloupe, by a mother from Guadeloupe, and they really wanted us, my brother, my sister and I, to be curious, to be proud of who we are. And my father was always telling me, you West Indian people are from Africa, your ancestors are from over there, so your roots are African. And I've always heard, Africa, Africa, Africa all the time in my childhood. So when I grew up, I wanted to see the thing I've heard so much about on the history side, of course, but also for real. I wanted to see for real what they were showing me on TV. So yeah, I think that this is all about the education my parents gave me.
In any case, congratulations to your parents for this education which is of service today to the entire human community. And in fact, the very reason of my invitation is there in your Guadeloupe origin. Because in my own experience in France and in the French West Indies, and the experience reported by many other African colleagues, it was not that good to reclaim yourself of any sort of African roots. What can you say about that?
So I won't deny it. There is a real mindset deconstruction to do with a certain number of people from French West Indies. But there are two very important points to keep in mind. First, when we talk about Caribbean people, we talk about African people, about people that have been ripped from their lands, buffeted in sheep's hold. So we talk about people that were completely broken in the inside. It's like you do a reset to a computer and then you tell the computer, your skin color is ugly, your hair is ugly. The lighter you are, the better it is. So the more you have the slaver skin color, the better you are. Like it developed colorism. So all those things that were injected into West Indian people's head, we have to have that in mind. And now the work is to deconstruct that. And we have to be humble to them. We have to be humble to our elders. You know, I often debate with my grandparents, my uncles, to tell them that there are some things that they can't say anymore, that they can't think anymore. But, you know, they didn't have the same access that we have today. They didn't have the same information that we have today. I'm 28 years old and today I have Instagram, I have Facebook, I have Google, I have so many things that makes me easier to deconstruct my mindsets than before. So for sure, some people from Caribbean islands would say, oh no, I'm not African. But you also have a lot of people like me who are really proud of their African roots and who do a real educational work to share their knowledge. Take the example of Lilian Thuram. He wrote the book My Black Stars and he helped a lot of people. Jalissa Sekhmet, she wrote a history book which is called History of Africa and its Diaspora. It's actually for children, but it should be read by everybody. I've learned so many things in this book. And she's from Guadeloupe. She even says that she's an African woman from the Caribbean islands. So, yeah, there is a group of Caribbean people that is growing and is trying to deconstruct all those things.
What was the reaction of the people around you when you started this project?
Honestly, I was afraid of getting reactions like, it's a communitarian website, it's only for Black people. But surprisingly, all I got were positive feedbacks, and I think it's because of the angle I took. You know, for a long time, when I went on some websites that were vocal about the Black community, and that were teaching Black history, I felt like always the same feelings. Either it was anger, either it was frustration. And the angle I took with Abenafrica, and I was actually the only one I felt like taking, was to say, I'm not a historian, I'm not a journalist, I'm just so curious about my history, Black history, and I just want to learn things, and I will share with you everything I find out. So let's learn it together. I get that it's the educational way and the fact that I'm imposing nothing, any way of thinking to anybody. That's this angle that people like. Even if I share things that have been said 1,000 times, those things were accepted and taken on a different way than before. Taken on a different way from Black people, but also from white people, from Arabic people that are following Abenafrica. And it was taken from people that usually are not interested in those kind of information. So what I wanted to do was that people, and especially Black people, I wanted them to be proud of their history. I wanted them to be proud of their identity.
So you created a word for that?
And yes, I wanted a word that represents this state of mind that really shows the approach of Abenafrica. So I've created the expression and the hashtag Afro-Curious.
My African cliché of the day is a duty, what I could call the duty of curiosity. A kind of minimum service that each African and Afro-descendant must perform to help know himself and help others see another perspective of Africa. Being curious about Africa, for example, is going to visit a pretty beach in Mozambique rather than Dubai. It is trying to understand pre-colonial African spiritualities before treating them as fetishes, a term used by settlers to designate anything not resembling their own culture. This is why I personally enjoy the Afro-Curiosities served by Abenafrica every day, and I invite you to become Afro-Curious too. See you tomorrow in the second part of this fascinating interview with Abenafrica. Have a good day.